What if they use xanthan gum?
Xanthan.
That's funny because it's like his character in Seinfeld used to say that about other characters like Newman and Kramer. He would do that thing.
Newman. Kramer.
But now it's about xanthan gum. That's where the joke comes from. It's nice that it's not woke either, right? Because otherwise you have to be
Xanthan gum. Yeah, hopefully made in a worker cooperative with a diverse amount of people in high positions of power. Woke.
I covered it a little while ago about how Jerry Seinfeld, basically wanted to go after comedy and start saying how wokeness and the left and the commies essentially ruined comedy, which is just like such a wild take. I didn't know it was also on a press tour for a new movie that is universally panned as one of the unfunniest and worst movies of the decade. It's just so bizarre to me to be going on a tour where you're preemptively just like shitting on entire like groups of people as like having destroyed comedy before you release this absolute fucking piece of shit. That's wild. But first, I do want to see the people who hate wokeness talk about it because they're very happy about Jerry Seinfeld and his movie.
Would go home at the end of the day. Most people would go, "Oh, Cheers is on. Oh, MASH is on. Oh, Mary Tyler Moore is on. All in the Family's on." You just expected.
Yeah, there's other shows in other periods of time that are really funny. Yeah, In Living Color's on. You could be like, "Oh, that's pretty fucking awesome." It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is on. Pretty dope. Pretty dope.
There'll be some funny stuff we can watch on TV tonight. Well, guess what? Where is it? This is the result of the extreme left and PC crap and people worrying.
Meanwhile, it's the right who just fucking cancel all the time. Everything. The right are always canceling, Hey, do you enjoy having consensual sex? I do. Do you enjoy having consensual sex with someone of the same gender? I do. Oh, yes, you're sinful and we can't talk about you or represent you in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, or that would be woke. Can't woke, what are we going to do? All of a sudden, there's going to be gays in movies, just like regular people? Just being treated the same as regular people? No, that could be reflected in society. What if that was reflected in society? Wouldn't that be the worst? Society actually went woke?
Think so much about offending other people.
Everything they're working on is terrible and is not very good.
Nerderotic.com.
Greetings, you over 1 million connoisseurs of common sense.
Damn.
Thank you very much. And the 40% who haven't subscribed yet. Let's talk about woke Hollywood again. Instead of recapping the latest series of events that's led to the latest disaster, let's just keep things simple. Hollywood.
Wait, sorry, the latest disaster? Can we be very clear? All of these so-called nerds, I don't think they're real nerds, by the way. I think they all have stolen nerd valor. I think some of them are evil nerds, but some of them are just like wannabe nerds, nerd pretenders. But Hollywood going the way it did and being now kind of real shit, that's capitalism. Capitalism. You can look at it for a while. Even people who are much more esteemed than this individual and actually have, produced art. So people like Steven Spielberg was calling that out a very long time. He was like, yeah, this is not sustainable to have a business model in which, again, there's a very small amount of companies that have acquired all these properties. $3 billion is all it costs. Think of that for a second, by the way. $3 billion was all of Star Wars. $44 billion was how much Elon Musk paid for Twitter and then reduced its value down to $7 billion. But think of how many Star Wars you could like Star Wars, all of it. Just you get Star Wars. You get the all of Star Wars, $3 billion. But yeah, if you have all these companies, the very small amount of companies producing movies that are 100 million, 200 million, 300 million, 400 million, and that's before marketing. So 400 becomes what? All of a sudden $800 million needed globally in order to break even. And you keep doing that. And then there's not just one really huge film that comes out every weekend. There's 4. It's which of the 4 massive blockbusters are you going to watch this weekend? It's I don't know. I don't really care about any of them, to be honest. They're all prequels, trequels, sequels, Marvel films, Star Wars, just the over and over and over.
Got woke, got broken, decided.
But sorry, no, I mean woke. Everything I just said, not real. It's because of black people and women and yeah, sometimes indigenous people, but yeah, wokeness.
Not to work and then went broke. Don't believe me? Let's check with Hollywood. From the Hollywood Reporter, box office existential crisis ahead as Hollywood rethinks what makes a hit. Newsweek, Hollywood faces dramatic twist in 2024 box office. From Reuters, the Great Contraction hits Hollywood. Bloomberg, is there any hope for Hollywood? Time, the Oscars were glorious. Not really, but there's a storm brewing in Hollywood. New York Times, how bad can it get for Hollywood? I'm scared, why it's a brutal time to be a TV writer in Hollywood.
You know, one of the most successful and popular, by the way, I wouldn't even consider them as independent anymore, but still, I think by the numbers in relation to some of the big studios, they're still considered indie. A24, considered to be the wokest of all the studios. It's the only one right now that's actually still, looking incredibly profitable and pumping out, guess what? Non-stop original IPs. That's kind of something that they prove that actually people, hey, they're not interested consistently with having the $500 million Marvel film. They're actually interested in good movies, neat movies, fun movies, colorful films, diverse films as well. That aspect that is also, people aren't rejecting all of those movies specifically because they're woke. Because we keep looking at this idea where it's go woke, go broke. Well, during the very start of a lot of the post-acquisition of Star Wars, when the big Star Wars films were coming out, they were accused of being the wokest of all films, right? There was a female Jedi, a black main protagonist. Yeah, there was an arc in which the female Jedi, well, she was actually kicking some ass. And then there was this whole idea that they were going to switch the whole kind of idea of the series where it's no longer about Star Wars being about some kind of like divine bloodline, but being about something that anyone should be able to attain, to democratize the very idea of having some kind of collective power in this world. My word, that was seen as the wokest Star Wars film ever. These movies are some of the top grossing films of all time. They're like some of the most profitable movies ever made. And then now it's still like, well, now what's happening? Wokeness. Wokeness has finally reached its zenith.
Almost everyone in Hollywood wants to get back to work. What's taking so long? Harper's Magazine, The Life and Death of Hollywood. Variety, Jerry Seinfeld says the movie business is over in Hollywood. And that's just a handful of articles from the...
Jerry Seinfeld is releasing a film on that digital streaming service because digital streaming services, yes, did completely change the dynamic of Hollywood and how films are both distributed and released. This is not about wokeness. This is all about a consumer product and corporations changing their dynamics and business models. It's so wild, though.
4 months. You up to speed? Good, because...
So, yeah, he has a film releasing on Netflix. Like, I haven't even seen the trailer. I wanted to watch it unviewed. Here we go. Let's see what's worth shitting all over the commies. See what anti-wokeness looks like.
I believe we have split the atom at breakfast.
I'm about to finally crush that big red K that never stops glaring at me.
Oh, that's the person who thinks that like all Palestinians are rapists, right? Or that they're just like incredibly brutal subhuman monsters who need to be cleansed from the earth. Half remembering?
What if they use xanthan gum?
Xanthan.
Kellogg's is entering.
That's funny because it's like his character in Seinfeld used to say that about other characters, like Newman and Kramer, when he'd do that thing. Kramer. But now it's about xanthan gum. That's where the joke comes from. It's nice that it's not woke either, right? Because otherwise you have to be
Xanthan gum. Yeah, hopefully made in a worker cooperative. With a diverse amount of people and in high positions of power. Woke.
Hey, you know Isaiah Lamb from Quaker?
You Kellogg's people.
It's funny because he actually looks literally like a Quaker. It's like the guy on the actual bags that you buy. You could have actually made a really funny film with the real history of Kellogg's. I mean, it is pretty, like, incredibly fucked up and weird. But, I mean, it would be super woke because you'd have to talk about, concepts of sexuality and people's own kinks and that kind of stuff. It would be wild, though. It would be absolutely wild. There's been many attempts. See, and I'll be honest with you. I don't think anyone who was involved in this project at any point knew he was going to try and market the project by going, like, the left ruined comedy and we need, like, the anti-wokeness kind of brigade. I think they were just like, oh, Jerry Seinfeld, fucking comedy legend, one of the biggest names of the game, making what is this, his first Netflix movie? Maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe it's another one. I don't watch his work. Not of course outside of B-movie, the greatest film of all time. But like, yeah, so I can see why a lot of big names would have been like, yeah, sure. Again, you're one of the biggest names in comedy. But then, like, that would suck to have that happen And you gotta watch fucking the marketing for this whole movie. All of a sudden, be like, yeah, it's the left and wokeness. They took away the comedy. They made comedy illegal because everything's so PC SJW. You know.
Fruit Magoos! What?
No,
Eat 'em up and eat 'em up!
no sale.
Oblong nibblers.
I'm sorry, but I would take anti-woke fucking it's always over this any day. Give me Chappelle's show. You know, I don't want to watch this shit. Yeah, I'll take some lessons in my comedy. I'll take some political information. I don't give a fuck. It's funny. And also, like, clearly the whole thing's just an ad for Kellogg's, right? I mean, I get like, oh no, he's trying to do the Barbie thing to Kellogg's, right? Like this could be a fun, hilarious story, but it's actually based on a part of history that many Americans might not know about. You know? Yeah, it looks like an overproduced clusterfuck. Needs more cast, more people. It needs more names. Not enough names. Oh, there you go. What were some of the last ones? It's just too many names happening so fast. John Slattery, John Hamm, of course. Like, is John Hamm literally in like one like throwaway scene, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, yes, but we should just put in the cast name. Yeah. He's on Cape saying he wanted to make a not woke Barbie. Are you actually serious? Oh, I was just doing a bit.
We are well, and it's conveniently leaked.
It looks like shit, by the way. It's getting reviewed like shit. It's supposed to be like one of the most unfunny films of the decade is literally how it's been reviewed. So like, yeah, no, it really goes to show that like the very idea of like, well, no, you just can't be funny anymore. You can't make movies anymore. You know, if you make movies, they'll cancel you. And you're talking about right wingers, and then yes, they don't want films to have any kind of, I guess, political message they disagree with. If it's something they agree with, it's like anyone else. You love it. The thing is, you just don't agree, I'd say, with the broad consensus of most people, which most people at this, like, you know, in this day and age, yeah, in Western society, they have come a long way in some regards. You know, they think much better of gay people than they ever did. Well, we'll say, you know, mostly white gay men certainly are perceived as more acceptable within general society. But yeah, no, just things like that. And because you don't, you hate it. And then you see it and you're like, well, fuck this shit. It went woke. Society went woke. Philip Schwartz, incredibly generous, $5. Woke comedy is better because it understands society and its systems. It isn't just funny, it's an analysis. Carlin was great for this reason. And also, you can be subversive. Also, you can try and teach and educate people in so hoping that they will change when they recognize the world for what it really is. The very idea of suddenly making someone laugh while simultaneously educating them. I mean, that was some of the most brilliant parts of classic Dave Chappelle. That was like, you know, some of the genius of his writing, and that you could find yourself laughing uncontrollably. But then when you want to repeat some of those jokes, you have to start teaching people about parts of history they may not know about.
But I have an example that comedy has been completely murdered in Hollywood, and all I had to do was a simple Google search. Anyone But You, a very mid rom-com released last Christmas.
Oh, are you talking about the fact that mainstream comedies are not dominating the box office anymore? Yeah, no kidding. Once again, same problem. Every single like dominating box office thing has to be a franchise and a usual action franchise. You can't even have big comedies that don't have lots of action, because I guess part of the marketing is like, can you justify spending $14 to $20 to going into a giant room full of people and sitting down and watching something on a big screen, unless it's just like a Dune, you know? And it's got to be really big and loud, and you got to hear that song, and it's got to like just resonate in the back of your ears.
But I can think of a couple of reasons why it was successful.
Nice rack.
Was the first comedy
What's it? The anti-woke tits. Sydney Sweeney.
to pass the 200 million mark in 5 years, and the first rated R comedy to pass that mark in almost 8 years.
Did it say action? Romantic comedy. Okay.
Years, and the first rated R comedy to pass that mark in almost 8 years. And if you want to get more depressed, that rated R comedy from 2016 was Bridget Jones' Baby. Unfortunately, these facts will not stop what the kids call these days the COVID. Or maybe that's just us old guys now. Jerry Seinfeld is...
Wait, what are you talking about? Like, so if movies are coming out, comedies specifically, and or rom-coms, and they're not doing well, and then because of that, studios are releasing less of them in theatrical releases, doesn't that tell you something? If something is less profitable to them, they're not going to keep releasing it because they want to turn profit. And like, that's the shitty part about all this. Blazing Saddles is woke as fuck, and all the conservatives love it, probably because they're taking the wrong messages from it. Yeah, I would say that's probably the same thing with Hogan's Heroes. Probably like, wait, I don't know if I understand this. Wolfheart 1136. Thanks for subscribing to Prime. Appreciate you. Okay, apparently Jon Stewart had some things to say. Which, by the way, you can still like be absolutely hilarious into your, old age as a comedian. Tons and tons of people have done it.
Netflix is a joke fest, and he's drawn some headlines for some of the things that he said. For example, he criticized Joe Biden's age again and kind of criticized the backlash that he received for saying what we all are thinking about Joe Biden's age. He also talked about hysteria over woke culture, and that to me is particularly interesting, and that's what I want to talk about today, because as a comedian, what he says is especially valid. And long story short, he basically says that this is much ado about nothing, and all of the comedians who are whining constantly about woke culture and leftist stifling comedy, it's all a bunch of nonsense. So the Hollywood Reporter explains the comedian weighed in on anti-woke culture, saying he was so fucking sick of the idea of go woke and go broke. What are you losing? You can't say anything anymore. What do you want to say? Stewart said. Shut the fuck up. And by the way, the people who talk about anti-woke are the biggest fucking pussies you would ever find, specifically calling out the controversy surrounding Bud Light and its partnership with trans influencer Dylan Mulvaney. I'm just so tired of it. The woke shit. You lose nothing. I'm a comedian. I've lost 2 words in 35 years, he said, of phrases that are no longer culturally appropriate for him to say. Honestly, are you that fucking unimaginative that you can't figure it out? Okay, this is why Jon Stewart is the GOAT. It's because he is able to adapt and speak the truths that nobody else wants to say.
Oh yeah, and then like look at other people who have no idea how to do that. Jim Brewer is a good example, all right? Jim Brewer is in a comedy that's written by Dave Chappelle, a one that is talking a lot about weed. And Jim Brewer being the kind of the stoner character in that comedy, you'd think that he'd probably be a little bit more progressive later in life. And the guy is just a red pill, far right, fucking right wing comedian now, just by default, because he's changed nothing about how he thinks or his act. That's all there is to it, right? Like, he goes in front of a stage, he's like, I don't get why people keep canceling me for doing all my racist voices. Yeah, I do a racist Asian voice. I don't even think it's racist though. I mean, people keep saying it's the racist voice blank, but like, no, I just like, it's just me just doing a character. It's a character. What? I do a white person, no one says anything, and then I do a black person, and everyone gets mad. And it's like, you're stuck in like 1991. Like, come on, man. Just like, learn, grow as a human. Come on, everyone can do it.
Comedians, they come out here and present themselves as truth tellers for saying what nobody wants to hear when they're all saying the same thing. Jon Stewart, however, is adapting and reading the room and understanding the moment. And he's saying all these comedians that are complaining in particular about in that last paragraph, it's all bullshit. They're crybabies. They're the ones who are being unimaginative. Now, he is not necessarily taking shots at any particular comedian, but I'm assuming a lot of
Blue Room, thanks for giving a tier 1 sub to Bukusama. Appreciate it.
comedians heard that and they felt pretty awkward after, for years, many of them have been talking about how comedy is under attack and their free speech is being stifled. He's just calling bullshit on that. And he's right. Now, this comes after Jerry Seinfeld blamed the extreme left.
Hey, people who I used to smoke with are red pilled. It blew my mind finding out that like there's someone in the chat dropped in here and they work at a weed store in Vancouver and they said that they'd seen Lawrence Southern going there to buy weed. I was like, what the fuck? It blows my mind that people can do drugs and like smoke weed or like do mushrooms or do anything like that and then like not have any either kind of like introspection or self-reflection or still see that hating people for their skin color somehow sits right with you. But like, yeah, that's just the reality, you know. It sucks.
And
there are very shitty hippies. It sucks, but it's true. It's absolutely true. Fucking Charles Manson, really shitty hippie. Fucking hippie as fuck. Super evil, terrible person.
Crap for supposedly killing TV comedy,
racist.
which is such bullshit because when you have shows like Curb Your Enthusiasm and It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and South Park and so many others that are still on till this day, well, I guess Curb isn't, but you know, they're beloved shows. They're very edgy, very offensive, but they are able to exist. It kind of
But also learn. We have to be honest, because like there are, of course, the comedy does not age well. You know, it seldom does because it has to do a lot of things simultaneously to be very, very effective. So yes, of course, you're going to find a lot of comedy later in life has trouble, you know, being concurrent with the times while simultaneously not also offending certain groups because you were maybe not unaware of other struggles or whatever it is. So yeah, this earlier work, especially when it's always funny, like they're the characters straight up do blackface, right? Like that's indefensible. Even if you're doing it to bring attention to white people who do blackface and why that's wrong. Even if that's the purpose behind the comedy, I think most people at this point would be like, yeah, but like, yeah, because there's probably better messages you could do without having to actually be a white person doing blackface. I'll just be completely honest with you. Even if you're doing it as a bit to bring attention to the very idea of wearing blackface. I say this as someone who absolutely loves It's Always Sunny. I'm not here to cancel anybody. I'm just saying, we can have conversations about this. We're mature, we're adults, we can talk about this. It's okay. Still absolutely fucking love that show. You know, still love everything about it.
Defeats this whole, oh my god, comedy's being canceled, we can't say anything because of woke folks. No, you can make
I feel bad about the Mighty Boosh. I mean, but there's still so many good songs in the Mighty Boosh, right? You probably still get them in your... There's a song about soup. That one will age great forever. That's a great song. It's a song about soup. It's fun, you know, and then it's wholesome. And that's a timeless song, all right? Completely timeless song. Hey, I think one of the greatest comedy troupes, arguably maybe the greatest comedy troupe of all time, Monty Python. Some of the people who are in Monty Python, they're just some pieces of shit now. They did not grow at all. John Cleese, that's a de-evolution, if anything. You know, there's a man who just progressively became more horrible as a human being as he got older. That sucks. There are people who grow, who learn. We're going to be talking about Macklemore soon. That's a good example, you know? That's one of it.
edgy jokes. It's just like what you say matters, and you actually have to be funny and say something. But these comedians are too lazy to write better material, I guess. Now, I don't think that Jon Stewart necessarily was taking a shot at Jerry Seinfeld. I'm sure he wrote that.
Yeah, like I'll argue the Frank episode where he talks about wanting to say the N-word because he's a white racist, right? That's just his character. Frank is a racist. He's racist towards a lot of different groups, but he is a racist, but that's part of his character, and they intentionally do that to be able to draw to attention to. Like, the idea of It's Always Sunny is they're not good people. You laugh at them and you love them because they're the main characters, but at the same time, you recognize they're bad people. They're doing bad things. Same thing with fucking Cartman. Eric Cartman is an anti-Semitic white supremacist Nazi in South Park. Like, he literally wants to exterminate the Jews. That's part of Eric Cartman's character. But that's the whole point, is that it's used in that way so that they can explore issues about horrible people doing horrifying and horrible things, but also mock them and laugh at them because of how fucking ridiculous they are.
That before Jerry Seinfeld made his dumbass comments. But what Jon Stewart says here as a fellow comedian is really important, because he's saying the onus is on comedians to make people laugh. You can't blame the audience for not laughing and assume that they're too offended by your edgy jokes. It's your job to know your core audience and write jokes that speak to them. If you can't do that, that's on you, not them. If they don't laugh, that's your fault. Because as Jon Stewart put it, he's lost, what, 2 words over 35 years as a comedian? I'm assuming those words are the homophobic F slur and the ableist R slur. If you can't make do with all the other words you have after that, I mean, that kind of speaks to your ability and talent as a comedian, does it not? Now, with respect to Jon Stewart, I'm glad that he made that point, because he says he lost 2 words. But of course, as we can all tell, him not being able to say those 2 words specifically hasn't stifled his comedy in any way. He's as funny now as he's always been, if not better. But the difference between Jon Stewart and other comedians his age is that he's been able to grow and adapt. And that's important, because at a certain point, new generations will find your stand-up, and what was funny to your generation might not necessarily be so funny to their generation. Not just because your material is offensive or edgy, but because people just have different senses of humor. I mean, I'm a millennial, and you can already see differences between my generation and Gen Z in terms of humor. So sense of humor is going to vary depending on the generation.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm one of those weirdos who I find Gen Z shit funny too. Like, when I watched all those documentaries, or I guess video essays, got to be clear on my terms here on YouTube about what Gen Z comedy is in the meme world. And it was kind of like, a lot of it is hyper absurdist, and it's like in being hyper absurdist, it can also be, you know, what other generations might consider super offensive, or perhaps they don't even understand it. But I like the weird of it all, you know, like me and the boys getting beans at the 3 a.m. meme thing. You're looking at it and you're just like, that does make me laugh that people are sharing this and other people are weirded out that people are sharing this. So that's kind of funny to me. You know, I don't know why. Like the birds aren't real shit like that. That's legitimately hilarious. And that's like a form of performance art. And I understand. Yeah, it would be nice if that movement was doing something more significant. It should now be birds aren't real and also free Palestine. Why we can do it. We can have it all, right? We can march and chew gum at the same time.
Depending on culture and even depending on the particular period of time that we're all in and when somebody grows up. But rather than trying to understand younger generations and adjust their comedy to appeal to them, so many...
What's Kids in the Hall generation wise? Kids in the Hall is what I was basically watching. I would have been young, but yeah, I think I was watching in my teenage years, but it's Canadian comedy troupe, basically Canada's Monty Python. And there's a good example. Kids in the Hall just came out with a new series on Amazon that a lot of people are like, oh, it's going to be super woke, and it is like very woke comedy. It's fucking hilarious. They didn't lose a beat. They're still very, very funny. If you liked old Kids in the Hall, if you watched the new Amazon series, and the Kids in the Hall was already kind of woke. They're already very, very pro-gay. They were very, pro-LGBTQ in a variety of ways, actually. And this because some of the cast members are LGBTQ. But yeah, either way, it's a lot of stuff that, yes, some of it doesn't age, some of it would be offensive, but by today's standards, they grew. There's brand new Kids in the Hall on Amazon.
Comedians these days just become curmudgeony old assholes.
You also get to see full frontal nudity, if that is something that you've been waiting for. They are, fully nude in the very pilot episode.
Who blame their inability to make people laugh on everyone else being too triggered or some shit. When that's
geezers is in the hall, yeah.
Now, what's compounding this issue that these comedians are all talking about with regard to woke culture stifling comedy is that they're all in an echo chamber reinforcing each other's bad ideas about the context within which they find themselves in. Rather than like trying to be introspective and realize we're all out of touch, they're all talking to each other and telling each other, no, actually, the kids are the ones who's wrong, and we're all right. And that became especially clear to me because I saw something on an episode of the last Club Random podcast with Bill Maher, another out-of-touch comedian, and he was, of course, interviewing Jerry Seinfeld. And Seinfeld made a comment about or not about a recent segment, just about Bill Maher's new role segments in general. And what he said really stood out to me, so let's watch.
I think what stand-up is for you is what writing that editorial at the end of the show is for me.
Oh, okay.
That's what
that piece I never ever miss.
Oh, thank you.
For the writing,
Thank
for
you.
the flow of it. The consistency is shocking. Your level of consistency is shocking.
Well,
and it's the best comedy monologue ever.
The guy who complains like, gender issues are too hard to learn. There's no such thing as trans people. You're just gay. Like that's an actual Bill fucking bit. He does this whole thing where it's just like, I don't think that you have a daughter instead of a son. I think you just have a gay and you should probably like not cut their dick off. Like that's the tier that we're discussing here. That's what is considered by Seinfeld to be the most consistent comedy writing on late night television.
Every week that anyone does.
Yes.
And
consistent garbage. If he's not being fucking, transphobic, he's being homophobic, or he's being fucking racist. One of the three. And if you say something about it, like, oh, stop. I make fun of everyone. Stop. Like, this is the same guy who said that he's a house N-word out loud, on live television. Like,
make a point on top of being funny. Which is,
usually a point no one else is making.
Except every Fox News host. Bill Maher's recent new rules segments, by the way, include diatribes about how selfish and entitled anti-war college protesters are, and why DeSantis was right about LGBTQ plus people being boomers. There's nothing subversive or edgy or funny or unique about Bill Maher's shtick. He's just a Fox News pundit, effectively, who tries to be funny. And throughout that interview, they were reminiscing about the good old days when people would complain less and whatnot. And it really explained so much. Because they're not only old and out of touch, but all of these old and out of touch comedians are continuing to jerk each other off about how right they are about everything and how wonderful their work is. But also, they've become insulated and they've put themselves in a bubble and they refuse to let anyone else kind of say something that resonates with them. It's just, no, I'm right, everyone else is wrong. Yeah. And that is part of the problem. They're stubborn, they're digging their heels in, and rather than adjusting as Jon Stewart has, they're just saying, nope, we're right, everyone else is wrong. But I mean, it's natural to become out of touch as you grow older, especially if you're rich. But they refuse to listen. But I think that this camaraderie that they have with each other, that's kind of part of the problem. Not that camaraderie and friendship is bad, but it's because, you know, they're all in this echo chamber. This is why every fucking comedy special takes on the same tone these days, like Triggered by Joe Rogan, or Cancel This by Roseanne Barr, and Woke Up America by Rob Schneider. And it's also why they all keep repeating the same fucking pronoun joke again and again and again. They might think it's funny because they all encourage and validate each other, but nobody else thinks it's funny. In fact, I don't even believe that they think it's funny, because how can you find the same joke that's been told again and again and again funny? The same I identify as blank and my pronouns are X and Y. How can you find that funny if it's been told so many times? And do you not feel self-conscious as a comedian that you're perhaps stealing other people's jokes? That was originally a 4chan joke or a Reddit joke or some shit, and you dipshits keep stealing it and presenting it as comedy because you changed the subject, or you changed like what you're identifying as. But it's the same fucking thing over and over again. And it's unoriginal, it's boring, and nobody wants to hear rich people complain about how people with no money and no power are victimizing them somehow because they get offended by jokes when that's not really even happening, right? So last week we talked about Jerry Seinfeld and his comments. I'll link to that video down below. And I pointed to a clip from 2015 when Jerry Seinfeld was on The Late Show with Seth Meyers, or one of those guys. I think it was Seth Meyers. And the example that he gave of people who are offended by his jokes was a joke that he told about young people. They're just obsessed with their phones and they're scrolling on it like a gay French monarch or something. I don't remember the joke. But anyways, he said that nobody laughed, and it was because he assumed that people were offended. He said that he felt their thoughts, and that they felt like, and he felt like they felt like he was being insensitive towards gay people and homophobic. But nobody actually said that. Like, this was something that he made up. He assumed that that was what they were thinking, when in actuality, I think they just didn't find the joke funny at all. But because they didn't laugh, he assumed that it was because they were woke and triggered or some bullshit. So I'll conclude by repeating what I said about comedians in that video. So the problem isn't that people are offended. The problem is that comedians need to write better jokes. Because having some variation of the I identify as / my pronouns are X and Y joke isn't funny. It's the same shit we've heard again and again and again. People aren't offended. They're just not laughing because you're not funny. And if you can't write better jokes that make us laugh, then I don't want to hear you whine about how you can't write edgy jokes no more, because the problem is you're not writing good jokes. The problem is your jokes just aren't funny. That's a you problem. Now you can keep coping and seething about how everyone's too triggered by your edgy content when that's not actually the problem. You're not cutting to the core of the issue here. But I mean, this is what Jon Stewart is getting at, and it's why he's relevant and they're not so relevant. I mean,
what's the name of that British comedian who like goes out of his way to announce that he's going to be offending you or testing you to see how much offense you can take? Where he's like, "Oh no, we try, please. Like you hear the sound of my voice. Oh, that's how I laugh." Jimmy Carr, yeah, that piece of shit. Someone played me one of his clips where it was just like a variation of the one joke, of course. He's like, "Oh, now there's 10 pronouns. Yes, those pronouns are not for trans people, they're only for non-binary people after all. And those pronouns are ew, 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 ew." And I'm just like, make with the funny, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, I'm offended because I'm fucking bored. I'd be offended because I wasted cash on this shit. Like sitting here, I want to be entertained, you know?
Thank you so much for watching, everybody. We first want to give a shout out to everyone who makes this show possible. This program is produced thanks to the generous support of our Patreon supporters. Anna Loves Riley, Irian McCartney.
Be quiet so that other people's voices can be magnified.
That's awesome. Okay, I love her. She's like, I didn't want to do Imagine like Gal Gadot. You guys hate her, right? That's an expert PR tactic for the record. I feel like that literally is an expert level of deflection, because like then she turns it into a negative to speak out against Israel. What is this block out? A guide to block out 2024. Digital mobilization. Individual movement dedicated to deplatforming of celebrities. We need you all to collectively block celebrities and influencers who have chosen to remain silent. The other part of this is that it makes me feel kind of good. It's great. Like, I think it's awesome that people are trying to block celebrities that haven't said, because it's like, yeah, dude, guess what? Maybe you should have spoken out, okay? It's like, yeah, I can't, you know, me and a handful of other people can't be the only ones out here in the trenches every goddamn day. How about you? How about you say something, okay? So in a way, I think it's great. Even though, obviously, the stubborn, like, we should do the correct activism side of me immediately has to shut it down a little bit and bring us back to reality. Bro, all of this started because of the Met Gala and some random TikToker influencer made a video with the audio, let them eat cake, and then wearing a crazy dress. Yeah, I saw. Haley, what is it? Haley Bobailey or something? What is the chick? I saw that shit too. That was kind of gross, but cool that it's like radicalizing people in the correct direction. Haley Blakey, Haley Bailey, whatever her name is, man. I don't know. I'm not on TikTok like that. And when I'm on TikTok, honestly, it's just like, this is the one, yeah.
Let them eat cake. It's time for the people to conduct what I want to call a digital.
That's crazy, dude. Yo, she came out crying. She was like, I didn't even get invited to the Met Gala. I never paid for the Met Gala. I actually always dreamt about going to the Met Gala. I'm so sorry. Like, she came out swinging, dude. Haley Banana Fana Fofali. Okay, now I know you're lying. I know that's not her name. Oh my God, bro, this hotel is eating my food, I'm pretty sure. Hold up, here, let's play this.
Digital guillotine, a digitine, if you will. It's time to block all the celebrities, influencers, and wealthy socialites who are not using their resources to help those in dire need. We gave them their platforms. It's time to take it back, take our views away, our likes, our comments, our money, by blocking them on all social media and digital platforms. And I think the first person that we should all focus on is Haley here. Haley Bailey, for your ignorant decision to attend the $75,000...
Yeah, they're like, she attended it or some shit, which, I mean, she was up and pretty funny that that she did that and everyone got mad at her, but like, I don't think apparently she didn't even pay. She didn't actually even go. She was like invited last second to do the like carpet interviews or some shit. Bro, this is real cultural revolution hours. I swear to God. Decentralized organizations, decentralized mobilizing always leads to this like militancy that weirdly enough is doing the exact opposite of what like the student organized protesters are doing. But I am a firm believer of hitting every avenue and hitting every vector. So YOLO, you know what I mean? Just don't be annoying about it. I don't want to get pulled up in a struggle session, you know what I mean? I don't want to get like whipped around by some 16-year-old non-binary Zoomers being like, listen, you have not been sufficiently pro-Palestine. Just beating the shit out of me, dude. This is a plea for Leninist vanguardism. I mean, that can have some complications too, but honestly, it's a little bit better, I think. You react to the Operation Olive Branch early on, and later at the VOD, you said you would look into it. Yeah. Forced to self-crit for owning a Porsche while having a 70-pound weight around your neck. I know. I apologize for my counter-revolutionary behavior, ladies and gentlemen. I up. I should have never bought an electric Porsche, okay? My bad.
To get Met Gala and recite "Let them eat cake," while you have done nothing with your 10 million follower platform as people are starving and dying.
Bro, this is how Mao must have felt. You know what I mean? He's just like looking at it. He's looking at the little Zoomers and he's just like, dude, yo, these guys are getting a little out of pocket. Okay? These guys, yo, chill. Hey, yo, everybody calm down a little bit, okay? Let's dial this back a little bit. Yeah, Taycan is union made, IG metal, I know, but, you know, it's still Porsche, come on. They're making edits?
Let them eat cake.
That's such nonsense. I would never say that.
Bro, this shit has 400,000 likes. What's happening right now? No way she was just saying let them eat cake because of what she was wearing. She must hate the poors and the Palestinians. No, the irony is she don't give a fuck about the poor or the Palestinians. And that is the Marie Antoinette moment. So yeah, it doesn't matter. It's not, it makes no difference whether she said let them eat cake, knowing full well what the context is and how she was like, yeah, the Palestinians or fuck the poor, or if she didn't know. That is the whole point of the Marie Antoinette, false quote, by the way. I don't believe she said that. What is the actual truth? I forget, but doesn't matter. Okay, in the way that we understand the let them eat cake false attribution to Marie Antoinette, okay, the false attribution to Marie Antoinette is literally her not knowing. The peasants need bread. They have no bread. They do not have bread to eat. They are revolting. The answer to which was, well, if they have no bread, why can't they eat brioche? Cake. I don't understand it. Let them eat cake. That's what this is. The whole point is literally her being like, what? Just let them have cake then. That's where it comes from. Cake is not what we think of it now. Cake is what was left over in the oven. A revolutionary newspaper, she said that. Okay, whatever. My point is her popping off like that is ironically the most Marie Antoinette thing you can do. Okay? Like it is falsely attributed to her, but it doesn't fucking matter. Okay? In the way that we understand it collectively, it is actually used as a representation for someone who is out of touch and privileged, so lost in the sauce of their own privilege that their inability to truly understand the horrifying conditions that those with lesser than them are living under. Okay, that's the whole point. Like it's supposed to be a story about how unimaginable privilege blinds you to the realities of those who are living under their boot, okay? And that's exactly what she did, regardless of her. Yeah, it's a cautionary tale. It's a revolutionary cautionary tale, which is ironic because that's precisely what she was doing. Did my door get knocked, bro? Where's my food? Oh my God, I'm about to have some cake. Ow. Oh.
Like I don't know. The hallmark of any good protest
I'm
or
being
boycott is
privileged.
direct and specific goal. Let's take the students across the nation right now protesting against their campuses because their campus is invested either monetarily or when it comes to research, information, and development into Israel. They're saying, we don't want that. We are going to protest here until you stop investing in this genocide, right? Clear goal, super clear goal, very clear goal. We're blocking and unfollowing any influencer who isn't using their platform to talk about Gaza. Wide net, unclear aim. Whoa, there's nothing on Billie Eilish's grid about Palestine. Oh, but she wore a ceasefire pin at the Oscars. Whoa, this person just posted a GoFundMe and information about Palestine. Wait, but they only did it after the digital guillotine thing. Boo. I'm not sure what, I'm not sure what the purpose is. If it's just personal that you don't want to follow these people because you find their morals to be dubious, good. Problem. That's very valid. But it's being positioned as the death of celebrity culture. Like this is a thing that we're doing that's so against celebrity culture. I've seen a million TikTok sketches about how Haley Bailey, is that her name? The Let Them Eat Cake girl, about how her really out of taste post, like, or out of touch, in poor taste post has led to the death of celebrity culture, but it really just feels like more celebrity culture.
It is more celebrity culture. People planning. I mean, dude, I get why people are angry, and I think it's great that people are angry. Okay. I mean, it is gross opulence in the face of so much chaos and anger and in the face of so many atrocities, right? So I get it. It's just like I do hope that people's activism doesn't begin and end at like getting mad at this shit. You know what I mean? The fact that Haley Bailey is getting targeted illustrates how dumb these people are. She has less money than Hassan, also poor. You people have no concept of wealth. Yeah, I don't think people understand that, but it is pretty funny regardless because she went there and was like, let them eat cake. I feel like a dumbass typing this over, but Haley Bailey was saying that because the theme for the Met Gala was J.G. Ballard, sci-fi story called The Garden of Time is a story where the aristocracy picks flowers and the slow advancing hordes of proletariats coming to their necks. Yeah, but she like signed off as the bad guy. Anyway, her rent is $17K. She's in an apartment tour. God damn, $17K a month? Bro, she pays more than I pay for my mortgage. Holy moly. Okay, maybe she ain't broke, chat. Y'all are crazy. Okay, does anyone have the Haley Bailey apology video? Because I thought it was pretty funny that people are mad. Why is she renting if she could pay that? I don't know. I don't know why people rent like that. That shit is crazy. This one is funny, Lamau.
I'm not elite. I'm a normal person.
How much do you pay for rent in New York? We're inside a $17,000 a month apartment in Soho.
Damn, bro. Haley Bo Bailey. What the bro? Her let them eat cake shit is looking real bad right now. God damn. It is funny though because people do that to me too. They're like, bro, look at how rich his house is. Look at how rich he is. Look at how his house is. It's like, yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm not hiding that at all. You know what I mean? Chat, the first Normans took Kate Bush. Now they're coming for Latigre. She's dating a billionaire from what I understand.
I don't know you.
I'm the guy that tours apartments.
Oh, from TikTok.
I was curious if I could have a tour of your apartment.
I mean, I guess.
Hi.
Hello. Welcome.
God.
Apartment's insane.
Damn. No, that's fake, Lamau.
Thank you. Some people would say it looks like a superhero's lair.
Who says that?
I don't know, some guy on TikTok.
Is this your kitchen?
This is. Would you like to write on my penis board? What kind of energy drink would you like? Because now I've upgraded to multiple flavors. I have lots of different energy drinks as well as expired raspberries. Help yourself.
What's your favorite thing in your apartment?
The window.
What window?
This window.
That window's insane.
Thank you. You can go to my spare bedroom.
Spare bedroom.
Which is also a mess, filled with laundry.
Why is it so messy? Oh! Dude, are you serious?
Still judged.
Is this how you...
I'm old. What's this person famous for? Chat, I also don't know what she's famous for. I think she's a TikToker. But like, I didn't realize TikTokers had it like that, dude. I can't go ban for ban against a TikToker. I thought I could. Turns out I can't. Okay? I thought I could go ban for ban against a TikToker. Turns out, never mind. Okay? They keep pulling out more bans. Okay? She did a money spread. She did a money spread, bro. And turns out that spread is vast. It's long. Her YouTube shorts are popular too. Of course, she was an actor since like 2011. She was married to an NFL player. What is happening? She was a model, Hassan. You can do that too. Yeah, she does have that motion. Haley Bailey was also a model. Yeah, models don't make that kind of money, chat. What do you mean she was also a model? Chatters, you have no concept of like what chatters, you have no concept of what businesses in the entertainment industry actually make money. Okay.
Live?
Yes.
I think this is literally the realest thing ever.
I know.
What's going on?
Dropped my palette. Thought I could put water on it to make it better. I just made it worse. Who's this guy?
Where do you come from?
Sir?
Is he supposed to be drinking out of the toilet?
Whoa. Get out of here, sir. Don't you want to lay on this bed, Caleb?
What is that?
This is my vampire machine.
Hey, show them
and
this.
This is my crystal carrier.
What do you use this for?
He was in the trash.
Let's get it together.
It's disgusting, dude. We're gonna ignore this.
Well, I definitely saw that. What do you do for a living?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Secret super spy.
Are those Pokemon cards? What's your favorite Pokemon card?
I mean, a Charizard, but unfortunately, I don't have a really good one that's CGC graded.
You're the guy who does the drawing on the sub.
Miss, I drew you.
Oh my God, really? It's incredible. Thank you. Can I keep this?
Bro, what is happening? Actually richer than you? Yo, shut up, chat. Chill. Chat, chill. Bro, they're both doing money spreads. Why are they both going ban for ban with me right now? What is happening? I thought TikTokers were like, oh my God, my CPMs are like 3 cents a 1,000 views or some shit. What is going on, bro? Bro, she has an apartment that's bigger than my house. How is that possible in New York?
Of course.
Oh,
Have a great day.
Who's here?
Do you play the guitar?
I don't. I'm just a poser.
I'm just curious where William is.
He's overseas.
And he's okay with other boys being over?
Well, yeah, because it's you. Now get out of my house.
Okay.
One of my best friends in the whole wide world, Matt, got married a little over a month ago, and it was a beautiful ceremony, magical, like something out of a fairy tale. And yesterday, this same Matthew from the riveting story I was just telling about the wedding sent me an interesting video that is truly horrific. The cringe is unbearable, but it's actually a video I saw a long time ago and completely forgot about, as if I was neuralized to remove all the memories of it because it was so painfully cringe.
Hi, I'm Shannon. I've known Tracy for, oh God, I think so. I started before store at 30, yeah. So I don't quite know Anthony that well, but Tracy talked about you, like, nonstop. Seriously.
It already gets off to a thrilling start here with her doing an internal abacus in her head to calculate how long she's known the bride. And it ends with her saying basically nothing except, I don't really know him that well. That's sure to energize the crowd. I have no doubt everyone's on the edge of their seat right now. She's got us in a fucking titty twister here of excitement with this one that she's building up to. So it's pretty clear she's been drinking. She obviously didn't prepare any kind of speech, even though I'm pretty sure at most weddings you're told ahead of time if you're going to be someone giving a speech, or maybe at this one they like open the floor up to anyone that wants to give a speech, I'm not sure. But the way that it worked at Matt's wedding is it was pre-established who was giving speeches. I wasn't one of them. I really think having me give a speech at an emotional event would really ruin the mood. Not because I'd say anything foul, like I wouldn't go on some kind of spiel about marriage being a scam and ruin the atmosphere, but I just feel like the way that I speak doesn't lend itself super well to like an emotional scene where people are like crying over how sweet everything is. I'd get up there with the mic and just be like, yeah, so I've known Matt since middle school, and him and Monique make a really good couple. They're a really strong team, like Connor and Abby from Cubics Robots for Everyone. Highly underrated show. But anyway, this has been a fantastic hootenanny. Really wonderful. Yeah.
And she'd be like, I mean, yeah. I'm like, I don't care. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding. You guys are so cute together. I swear to God, you guys.